So the topic of today on the podcast is favorite final girls of all time, or Mount Rushmore. Who is your Mount Rushmore of final girls? Very interesting topic. So I'm going to throw it to you first, Roop, because I like to put you on the spot.
He's
So-
the least
Yeah, no,
prepared.
that's fine with me, man.
You
Whatever
get to like
wanna
call
do.
like, hey, so what are we doing today?
Yeah, right. But before we start, man, it's nice to have you guys on again. I always love talking with y'all. So thanks for joining me tonight.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's good to see LA. Zach pretending like he's from LA again. So that's where his mindset
Yeah.
is.
That's right.
And
I
he
haven't-
throws up the H's as he reps LA.
Oh,
That's just
my
perfect.
God.
do that. How about that? Here you go.
Never,
That-
and you never
that
been
better
on
for
a
you?
surf. When's the last time you were on a surfboard?
I've never been on a fucking surfboard.
Exactly.
At least he's being honest. Now. He
You
ain't
don't have to
bullshit.
ride a surfboard though.
To
You
do
know.
the hang loose, that's the whole point.
Tell you what, next time I go to California, I'll get on a surfboard for you and I'll send you a video. So Root, man, Mount Rushmore, basically your top 4 favorite final girls, man. If you want to go in no particular order, if you have a set order from 4 to 1,
Yeah.
the floor is yours, man.
I guess I'll start backwards, right? I'll start from 4 to 1.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Sally from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In my eyes, there's no final girl that went through more than her in the movie. That like she the way she went through to survive to come on the other side of that first one. I see Mike chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I see that too.
But
He's switching.
I don't know.
I mean, you made a hefty statement there. It's like, listen.
I think as for that alone, I know there's some final girls with more, films and things like that. Like more, like they were around longer. But I think that what she went through in the very first Texas Chainsaw, I mean, it was groundbreaking, dude. So for my liking, I think she's my number 4.
I'll let you go ahead next, Mike. Unless you had more to say about Sally, Roop. I wasn't sure if you were done or not.
No. That's pretty much it. What the dinner scene for me is one of the craziest scenes ever. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it was heavy, man. It was like the tension in that scene was more tension than any chase scene or anything like that. It's so well executed on a micro budget too. On top of that, so kudos to what's the director's name? I can't
Toby
remember.
Hooper.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, man, it's just a great job. But anyway, that's why I have her number 4, just because I think she went through the most in any one movie. But I'll pass the buck to Mr. Tula.
Well, listen, when Rupert's saying that in the fade and wearing, jumpsuit orange, it's kind of hard to disagree with my guy over there. I mean, it's, do so at your own risk. But I kind of figured one of you guys were going to do Sally Mae from, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm getting her last name wrong on purpose. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm kind of doing exactly.
She didn't have one.
Sally Hardesty.
Well,
yeah, I'm just doing, Sally Mae just to be quote unquote
Yeah.
funny, but much in the same respect, who went through the most? And so honorable mention, I'm going to throw out Regina Belmont, played by Catherine Mae Stewart, Night of the Comet, 1984 cult film.
Shit.
Survived the apocalypse, takes place in LA. It's a cool movie if anyone hasn't seen it. It's about a comet that comes over and, her and her sister, they were in steel containers, so they survived, yada, yada, yada. Cool movie, you should check it out. But my, I guess, 4th one would be Charlotte Vega's character in the new Wrong Turn movie. And when I saw this movie, I came in with zero expectations, zilch, because it's a remake, it's a new movie. As Rupert would kind of break my balls about, it's post 1990, so I'm already skeptical. Post 2010, and there wasn't, everything was different. They're dealing with, people that established their own territory and they're going by their own rules, almost like, like a Native American reservation, that same veil where, it's understood people don't, they have their own autonomy. There's no disruption of, their way of life. And so these, hikers go, of course, they're bad guests. Every horror movie could be solved with just be a good guest and nothing will happen to you. Like Midsummer, that's it, 100%. You're not a good guest, that's what happens. But in Wrong Turn, Charlotte Vega's character is awesome. There's a transformation too. She goes through a lot. Her friends die. She gets captured by these people. She acquiesces to them, has to be indoctrinated, within their community. Her dad, played by Joker, Full Metal Jacket, Matthew Modine, also, as you would know, Stranger Things, the guy from Stranger Things, is coming after her to save her, and she has to find a way to finesse that, to escape with her dad. And the way she does so is so awesome, so she sacrificed a lot. And then at the end, I think it was like a year or 8 months later, she thinks everything's cool. You could tell her, she's kind of hardened and she's ready, but she's back in civilization. And then all of a sudden the cult leader comes knocking on the door, and it's just like, he basically tells, it's one of the better, most memorable endings of a horror movie, a slasher, a remake, whatever you want, that you'll ever see. And, basically she agrees, all right, I'll come back with you. And then it's just all one shot. It's been out, so spoiler, you'll probably forget about this anyway. You just see the car, the RV driving by, then it wrecks, then all this stuff happens, and she's coming back all bloody. So everything's A-okay. She protects her family. She's out. She made it. And, it definitely sets a tone. If there is ever a sequel, I don't think there will be, but, no one's messing with her moving forward. And it's just like she went through a lot psychologically, physically, and Lord knows the trauma that she's got ahead of her. But she came out on top in a way that seems like badass, but realistic in that situation.
If you would have told me this I remember you talking about it when you watched it. If you would have told me this, I would have stopped what I was doing and watched it immediately.
Yeah,
I
was very surprised by it, man. I was like, I enjoyed this. You go into a movie, you're like, I'm not expecting anything. And all of a sudden it takes you, and all of a sudden you're like, all right. And then, midway, 40 minutes in, you're like, I'm having fun. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun watch. I don't want to spoil anything since River hasn't seen it, but
I loved it.
Oh well, I loved at the end when she walks in the house and he's there, and there's that whole fake out where she just goes to town on them and she like snaps back to reality, and then it's like, oh man, I would have liked to have seen her.
It's a great ending
Off them, and then she eventually does it in the RV, so that was great. Yeah, that was a fun movie.
I love those movies where you feel like you see it's this formula where you see, and Night of the Demons does this. You see normal day-to-day life, same setting. They go out, go through hell, they come back to normal day-to-day changed. Yeah. And then it's like that bad nightmare that comes back.
Yeah.
7 months, I don't know how long it was, 8 months later. It's like when that stuff's out there, any day someone can turn up. You're never really safe. So yeah, it's just a good movie. It's all about the family, the universe was there. I liked it. It was a surprising watch. Anyone that doesn't like it, you gotta not look at it like it's a Wrong Turn movie. You gotta look at it like it's its own movie.
Yeah, it really isn't a Wrong Turn movie. It's fantastic on its own. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So moving on to me, some honorable mentions for me is Sally Hardesty. Obviously, say what you will about Black Christmas, but I consider me personally her the OG Final Girl, more mainstream Final Girl. Yeah, and just to piggyback, I don't want to have to repeat everything that Rupert said. Pretty much everything he said, I agree with about her. Just all of the shit she went through, man. It was
Sally, right?
Oh fuck yeah, Sally. So fucking crazy, man. Especially with the motherfucker like Leatherface. The dude's a savage. And then the dinner scene too. One of the most iconic scenes from that movie. Haven't watched that movie in a long time, but every time I watch that fucking scene, it's like, holy shit, dude. It's so uncomfortable, man. And shit like that inspires me to do stuff like that and stuff that I do. Like, I just love the uncomfortableness of it. Another honorable mention. My last honorable mention is Florence Pugh from Midsummer. Actually,
That's a good one. Yeah.
Really connected with her, man. Like, holy shit! You talk about a girl who got put through the fucking ringer. Just felt so isolated, so alone, and she gets to this fucking cult, man. And throughout the entire movie, you just see her gradually, kind of in a way, becoming accepted. And it's like, I don't know. It's kind of it's like a sick, it's like a sick healing process for her. I don't know. It's like she becomes one of them. And I really liked her arc in that movie. As fucked up as that movie is, I really liked her arc in that movie. And I think Florence Pugh was just absolutely fantastic. So those are my two honorable mentions. Great movie, by the way. I'm sure I know Tula's seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, Roop.
Oh, yes. Day came out. I
saw that in theaters, dude. It was so fucking.
It was an honest arc, dude. Like there's a lot of honest, relationship in that too, because the boyfriend was a complete douchebag, and those people when you're not comfortable, just be honest and say what you feel, what you want. Like guilt is easy to swing people by, and just off what happened to Florence Pugh's character with her family to begin with. You're like, God damn, like how is she recovering? So that it made a lot of sense. She's looking for family, she's looking for love, she's looking for acceptance, she's looking for all these things. And funny enough, she finds it in the cult, and her douchebag boyfriend and friends, they're bad guests, and so that's what ultimately leads to their downfall. So it's like you're a bad guest, bad things are going to happen to you. That's basically
well, I mean, there were bad shit was happening. Like, that movie, I don't know. I was ahead of the movie the whole time. And that bothers me. That like really takes me out of the movie. And that's why I had a problem with it. I thought the setup was great.
Fantastic setup. I
thought the setup was perfect. And then it just, from that, once they get to where were they at? Sweden, right?
Yeah, somewhere in Sweden.
Yeah, well, once they get to Sweden, it's just like it's down. For me, it was downhill because I saw everything happening before it happened, and it was just like it's frustrating because I'm not in the movie. You know what I mean? Like I'm completely out of it, and I'm just kind of like checked out, and so I just didn't like it.
I think that's it. That movie's more about. Yeah, you're 100% right, because I mean, where it's obvious where it's going to go. But it's about how they get there. It's about you being along for the ride because you're connected to Pugh's character, and the setup is great. And it's more of like an experience movie. I'm not 100% sure. You ask, hey, what's the replay value? What's your number one movie that has a lot of replay value? I don't think you're going to run into a lot of people that are going to say Midsummer. So it's more of like an experience. Yeah, it's more of like an experience movie. You're like, man. And I think you have to see it in theaters too, just because the cinematographer was, at least, we're with a professional cinematographer. As a non-professional cinematographer, I thought it was awesome. It was a lot of fun to look at.
Yeah, very well shot movie. So with all that said, moving on to my number 4. Holy shit.
Damn, I thought Florence Pugh was your number 4.
I know it should have been. I actually, the more that I talked about her, it kind of makes me wish I would have put her at 4 instead of my true number 4. But they're interchangeable.
She's on hold for now. We'll see.
Yes, she's on hold. And when I say my number 4, I don't know if she's going to be on your lists, either of your lists. So y'all might be like, she doesn't need to be number 4. It's Alice Hardy from Friday the 13th, part 1, and one scene in part 2. Spoiler alert. I don't like how they killed her off, man. So, disrespectfully in part 2. Like, I really liked her as a final girl, even though she didn't really technically go up against Jason. She went up against his batshit mother. Yeah, man. I really like the character, dude. All the shit going on with her, and her fighting, just her spirit, man, and the shit that she goes through to stay alive. I just, it's kind of more of a, like I said, probably I'm in the minority here, but I really liked Alice. I don't know where she ranks on you guys' list. I don't know if she's even on you guys' list. I know a lot of people don't really consider her like a great final girl, but yeah, I'm salty, man. They killed her off in part 2, but I really liked her in the original. I think she should have lived, man. I would have liked to have seen her go up against Jason, man. That could have been cool.
You're not wrong, because she was very beloved, so much to the point she had all these stalkers, and so I think that's the main reason why she didn't even want to be into the next movie to begin with.
That makes sense,
because she was afraid. She wanted to stay out of the limelight. And so I guess, it was a cool kill they had, the opening kill. Like it went for a long time.
Yeah.
All these people, it's all one shot. Everyone, all these guys, one shot take. They had a nice one, in that movie. And yeah, I agree. It's not a bad pick. For Final Girl. I think you'd be surprised. A lot of people have her as she's beloved. Obviously, the one I think her name was
top 10. Yeah,
I think her name was Amy Steele from Part 2. She's a lot of people's too. So Friday the 13th has a lot just because they have a lot of good final acts.
Yeah. Let's go back to you, Roop. Let's what are we at? You're number 3?
Number 3. So my number 3 is Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now that those two movies are objectively kind of okay, right? I don't think that they're necessarily like great movies, especially the second one. But I'm just biased as a kid of the 90s, right? Like watching those movies. 90s, I guess 98 was a Part 2.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr. and her, like there might be the best dynamic duo in any horror franchise, and so I think that they fed off each other really well. And also there's like this thing about, I guess this is a trope in the genre, in the slasher genre. It's like the good girl tries to do the right thing and everybody else doesn't, so then she ends up paying for it. But it was like this constant thing that usually it's just in the first scene, but it was this constant reoccurring thing in the series. And she just kept fighting. She was a trooper, so, and I was in love with her. So, I'm gonna stick with that.
Well, there's the truth.
Yeah. That's why she's number 3. Yeah.
All the Nev Campbell fans are on you now because, where was the love for her as well? You know what I mean? Like you were disrespecting her at the same time. She was on Party of 5 as well. So, and
she's a Texas girl, though.
Waco,
girl, so.
Right? Yeah, Waco.
Yeah.
It's not a bad one. What I liked about Julie and I Know What You Did Last Summer was the setup too. It's the what would you do? A lot of people, it's a realistic situation. People are out for their own interests. They're teenagers. They're selfish. They don't know the consequences of their own actions. And then, the guy ended up being alive and committing murder. So their crime got worse. If they would have listened to Julie, maybe things would have been different. I don't know. But yeah, she always wanted to do the right thing. Everyone else kind of goaded her. Freddie, what is it? What's his name?
Michelle Gellar.
Who was choking her like, you better go along with Ryan Philippe.
Ryan Philippe.
I was like, damn, dude. Yeah, it's a good pick though. Good pick.
Yeah,
good
pick.
Had a lot of stars. How did I think about it? Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Ryan Philippe.
At the time, it was awesome. I remember
who
we saw it in theater. Everyone was all about it.
You had Brandy in the sequel. Jack Black was in the sequel. Johnny Galecki was in one of them. I can't remember if it was the first or second.
He was in the first one.
First one, yeah. He was big at the time on Roseanne, I believe, or was that after Roseanne? I don't remember. Yeah, a lot of stars.
The movie was after Roseanne.
Yeah, a lot of stars. So that brings us to Senor Tula at number 3.
I'm surprised. You guys usually disappoint me, and there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of things to pick apart with you guys. I'm kind of disappointed.
It looks like it's another night of no fireworks.
You guys are learning. I guess you guys are learning the coaching's working, but I gotta go, number 3, just out of respect, because I didn't really see too many final girls like this without it being overly cheesy, was Sharni Vincent in You're Next.
Oh,
just because
I like that movie.
The universals are there. You're meeting your, boyfriend or girlfriend's parents for the first time. And this is the last situation you ever think is going to play out in your head. Your boyfriend's brother, or did they both hire killers to come to the house or something? So it's a lot of unexpected things happened. She didn't realize it was going to be a bloodbath. I think the assailants and the people in her family didn't think that she had the background that she had due to her upbringing. You know, she's there like freaking MacGyver, you know, taking everyone out. MacGyver / John McClane. And
like horror Home Alone.
Yeah, pretty much. And then she ends up out on top. I think she was a sole survivor. I haven't seen this movie since it came out in theaters, but I remember I was like, man, it was a fun movie. Yeah. You're rooting for her the whole time. She proves herself capable. And, you know, she seemed ready for the situation. It was unexpected, but she was ready. And I guess her readiness was a little unexpected.
Yeah, that was a fun movie. I haven't seen it in a long time either. That came out in 2011, 2012. It's been a hot minute.
Keeping this one short for you.
Yeah, that's a good pick, man. I wouldn't have thought of that, honestly. That's one of those movies where it's like you remember and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about You're Next. That's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's like Better Watch Out and I know a lot of people didn't like Countdown, but I had some fun with that movie, as cheesy as it was. Moving on to my number 3. My number 3 is going to be the lovely Nancy Thompson, played by Heather Langenkamp. And Nightmare on Elm Street. Why are you rolling your eyes, bro? What's up with that shit? Bro,
hey,
this chick straight up said, fuck you, motherfucker, Freddy. I'm not afraid of you. Beat his ass.
Is that an actual line of dialogue?
I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like that.
I was about to say, I don't remember.
It sounds
like something that come out of part 5, part 6, but yeah, go ahead.
It should have been. Nah, man, I really like Nancy, you know, after all the shit she went through, facing one of the toughest challenges too, man, not being able to fall asleep. I mean, just putting all the stress on her, losing her boyfriend, Jack Sparrow, gets mutilated by Freddy.
It's high school, though. You get over it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then, you know, she's trying to get help desperately, or fucking what's his face, her dad won't fucking believe her, and he's a goddamn cop. So yeah, I just think she endured a lot, and I like how she faced her fears in the end and put them to bed. And I think it adds to it in part 3 when she comes back, and you know she dies, but I think it was a nice heroic death, man. But yeah, I'm actually surprised to get that reaction from you. I thought Nancy was beloved, man. She's beloved by me. So I'm keeping it sweet and short. So this ain't an hour-long podcast, but yeah, Nancy's my number 3. So yeah, I definitely don't expect her to be on y'all's list. So now I'm intrigued by the rest of y'all. So yeah, Roop, number 2. What do you got, man?
All right. So this is struggle for me, because my heart of growing up wants to say Laurie Strode, right? My love for Halloween and everything that it has meant for me. But
what happened to your talking point of going through the most?
I agree. but here's the thing, is that Halloween has kind of been, I don't know, beat up these last few years with the new sequels. And then we can't pretend that.
But that doesn't take away what she did in the movies that she was in.
I mean, Resurrection is terrible.
But I mean, you're just choosing. You can just choose off one movie too.
Yeah, and she's barely in that.
If you're gonna go off just Halloween 1970, what was it? It's 5, 6,
8.
Yeah, 8. Then yeah, she's up there. I don't know. I'm struggling. My girl right now I can't believe I can't remember her name. Theresa is her name in the movie. From Happy Death Day. It's cool. I'm conflicted. I want to put her, and this is the biggest reason why.
Okay, I like the original choice.
You talk about a swerve.
Because she in both movies is an active participant in surviving. She's not just reacting to a killer.
Here we go with the storytelling.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's the truth.
The rules of storytelling. She's Coach Sanchez.
Theresa. It's Theresa Tree Gelman, played by Jessica Roth.
Yeah.
Roth.
She
was great in that, by the way.
Absolutely. She was, yes, yeah.
And I mean, the charisma, and you start adding all those things up. And I think right now I have to put her ahead of Laurie Strode. I think.
Well, to push back on you, and I'm glad. It only took one compliment for you guys to already now put your futility on full display for the world to point to and laugh at. Because her character in Happy Death Day, how many freaking chances this chick have to figure things out? It's like Groundhog Day. How many times you gotta die to figure it out? Everyone else, you get one shot.
That's a good point.
And that's it. It's game over. She's like the kid who shows up at the arcade with like a bag full of quarters. All right. But she's bragging about beating the game. Yeah, you have freaking 30 quarters to play with. I hope you beat the damn game.
Fuck, that's such
terrible final game. That's what I'm arguing right against.
That's good enough.
Destroyed your freaking Final Girl, man. Good movie, great actress, but Final Girl Mount Rushmore.
I will say,
I
will say the fact that the chick from Happy Death Day is on your list and Sidney Prescott isn't is just absolute heresy. But hey, man, you do.
I like the original pick. But
I respect it too. Yeah, for sure. Where are we at, man? We're on
Tula,
on
number 2.
Yeah, well, I'll get this one out of the way because I got a sneaking suspicion none of y'all are gonna have. It's not really a number 1, but I guess the one who'd be at the forefront of Mount Rushmore. None of y'all are gonna have that, and none of y'all mentioned this one, so I'll get it out of the way. Is Sidney Prescott, and I'm gonna qualify going through a lot because she in the sequels. I'm more talking about part 1. Because a lot of these people, it's scary when you don't, this is the first time it's happened to you. And you have to learn that you're ready to be a final girl. You have to, you're thrown in unexpectedly and you step up without any empirical evidence, to suggest that you can do this. It's like learning that you're a franchise player, having to step up to the plate, and forging your own path. She had to do that. And, all these things, the sleeping with the boyfriend that was the actual killer, not knowing that he was it all along, not knowing that he was the person, knowing all your life that you're sleeping with the person that caused all the trauma in your life, killed your mother, that's going to set you off. I don't know how the hell she settled down with anybody, Scream 5 and had kids, how can you have any trust issues whatsoever, especially after what happens to, Derek in Scream 2, which actually was a favor that Mickey did, especially after the Top Gun reenactment in the cafeteria, but we're not going to go there. We're sticking with part 1, and unlike Aaron or Sharni Vince's character in You're Next, Sidney Prescott didn't know she had this in her. She had no reason to know that she had this in her other than she knows how ridiculous, these final girls in horror movies are. And she had to just learn on the fly, if she was all about it. And we found out that she was all about it. And that's it. It's number 2.
My number 2 is going to be Laurie Strode.
I mean, did we take a wrong turn and we're in the obvious town now? We're just picking the top 3 most popular franchises. Laurie Strode.
Dude, how can you ignore that, man?
Lay out your argument.
How can you ignore that, dude?
Well, I'll obliterate it right now, but lay out your argument.
Dude, well, I look at it from a whole as like all the movies that she was in. I've always loved Jamie Curtis and what she did for the franchise and just the legacy. And I have a soft spot for her, man. I don't know what it is. It's just
it's a debate show. It's a debate show.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not the type of guy. I know
you're Mount Rushmore.
I know you guys love to debate, but I'm not really a debater. I respect other people's, like, if you like Happy Death Day chicken number 1, cool, man.
Oh, I respect all y'all's opinion, but yeah. I got an opinion about it too.
Hey, man, say what you got to say, bro. So after all that, Roop, we're at your number 1, man.
You ready for my GOAT?
I know who it's going to be.
In my eyes, the greatest of all time, Sidney Prescott. I don't know why you guys insist that I have a problem with Sidney Prescott, but I don't, or Neff Campbell, or anybody like that. If I had to assemble a team of, like, say I needed 5 final girls to beat a final or beat a serial killer, I don't know that Sidney Prescott would be part of that team necessarily, but in the context of her world, there's no one that's been able to objectively, intelligently survive someone trying to kill her. You know, like it's not just like she gets lucky. She actively outsmarts her opponent, which the other people really haven't done. A lot of the other final girls haven't really done, not to her level. And she is, while she might not know who the killer is, she knows how to flesh them out. So I think if I'm looking to, like, I'm counting her whole career as a final girl, not just Scream 1. If it were just Scream 1, maybe she's not number 1. But I'm counting her whole 5 movies, and I think that she won. I don't think there's a debate for, in my eyes, for her not to be the best final girl of all time, for all the reasons I said. And I don't understand where this idea that I don't like Nev Campbell or Sidney Prescott came from. But I even said it on another podcast when I was talking to you guys. I was like, she's the, I think I said Gail Weathers jokingly, and then I was like, no, of course it's Sidney Prescott. You know,
you're just stoking the troll fires a lot. But yeah, to suppress your point, or to add to your point,
I was like, why you want to suppress me?
Her transformation at the end, where in spite of all the stuff she went through, she's playing their game against them, calling as Ghostface, wearing the costume, and letting them a little taste of their own medicine, and then smoking Billy the way she did. You know, hell of a transformation.
Yeah, and she's no longer. She went from victim to
taking it to him.
Taking it to him. Yeah,
and she's a teenager too, man. So it's a lot. You know, you're a teenager. You don't have the confidence. You don't know what you're made of yet. So.
And her mom died. Her dad's missing. You know what I mean? You add all these things. Well, I guess by then she already knew her dad wasn't missing. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like all these people, her close friends are dying.
They have her dad too. You know, you see her dad get. That's
the guy she just gave her virginity to is the killer.
That's a lot to go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a sick line too. Fuck you. Oh no. We already played that game. Just rubbing it in her face like that, man. But to piggyback off you real quick, I'm going to go ahead and skip turns over you, Tula. Sidney's my number 1 as well. Obviously, I mean, I'm very biased towards the Scream franchise, but I like what you said about she's been through this. Like it really shows in Scream 3 when she's talking to Roman. He's going on and on and on. She's like, oh come on, dude, I've heard this shit before, you know. And then again in Scream 5, she's on the fucking phone. I thought one of her best lines was he starts I'm bored, you know, and fucking hangs up on him. It's like, man, this chick, dude, she knows how to handle this shit now. My number 1 was Sidney Prescott. So here we are, number 1, Michael Tula.
To me, it's no question, no ifs, ands, buts about it, especially when you're talking about my, I guess, criteria, what you went through the most. And in this instance, your adversary, just ridiculous. I'm going with Sarah Connor, Terminator 1984. Oh, without a doubt. Holy smokes. I saw Terminator 2 first. I was like, man, this movie is like all-time great. This is awesome. And then we rented Terminator 1, and then I was like, what the heck? Like, this movie's amazing. I don't know how many times we saw it, because I was scared of Arnold. I was like, this guy's a badass bad guy. I mean, from the future, he's scarier than Jason Michael Myers, because you can't kill a guy. He's using guns. He's coming at you regardless, you know. And Sarah Connor, she goes from being a waitress, you know, at a burger joint with a roommate in LA. And next thing you know, this freaking big, you know, Conan the Barbarian looking dude's shooting her up at a freaking discotheque. You know, she's in the middle of a firefight, and then she's learning what the hell's going on. And then it's just the impossible odds of overcoming Terminator, you know, just by me. I don't think anyone has access to a device that can crush metal like that readily. So, it was a hard find. The guy's unstoppable. In 1984, you could track you down like that. Just imagine today, forget, there's no running. You're toast. So the transformation she had too at the end, she never done this before. And I'd argue that when you're talking about Freddie, Freddie got, I would rather go against any of these other guys than Arnold from 1984.
Anyways,
Cool.
That's it, man. Thanks for joining me, guys. This will be fun to post. I can't wait to hear what people think. And let me know your final girls. Let us know your final girls. Do you agree with our list? What is your list? So yeah. Anyways, we'll be back with another topic soon. And yeah, that's it. You guys got anything else? Dude,
No.
I hate doing outros, man. It drives me fucking crazy. I hate doing it. It's like I always want to have more to say instead of just signing off. Like, okay, bye.
That sounded like a good outro to me, man. I don't know why you hate it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I'm
great outro.
I'm too hard on myself.
Tula's on it. So I respect Tula's gangster, bro. I
Yeah.
love it, bro.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. All right,
Wait,
that's it.
done? Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later.